Having children should not be an alternative to waiting a couple years to bang an adult. What are we doing? Hey babe, what's up? Yep, that's me. I'm talking about another pedophile. And the PDF on trial is once again, of course, Rudius, because the Rudius defenders can never get it through their fucking thick skulls. You are not entitled to sex. You do not need sex to survive. Let me walk you fucking Neanderthals through this one last time. If you are reincarnated and you have your mind as an adult, you are mentally developed, you wait until you are an adult, 18 in this world, and you can bang any 18 plus age equivalent that you want. Because there are plenty of virgins out there that are 20, 30, some are 40, that can easily tell, yeah, man, it sucks, but it can be done, whether by choice or not. You can wait. You don't need to be banging at 15. You think banging kids is a good alternative to just waiting until you're an adult to bang an adult? You got problems. See, here's the problem that I have with Jobless Reincarnation, is because it was designed in such a way to be the perfect smokescreen and plausible deniability for PDF files to justify what they want. Jobless Reincarnation is the gateway to PDFs into the anime community because it's got enough good world building, it's got enough good storytelling that when you tell people like, yeah, man, this is my favorite manga, this is my favorite anime, you know, people will let it slide because you're like, yeah, it does a lot of really good things. The real reason that y'all like Jobless Reincarnation is because of the fact that it allows Rudius, a PDF, a CP watcher, a lolly lover, to go to a fantasy world and indulge in his darkest fantasies without repercussions. And don't tell me Eris leaving him for a little bit was his big consequences. Guess what? He met up with her later, he married her and impregnated her multiple times. This is your guys' escape to a fantasy world where you can get away with not feeling like a fucking monster. And as somebody who writes manga, I fucking hate the mangaka of Jobless Reincarnation for the way that they did that story. Because you dingbats come on here and say, it's a story about redemption and second chances. No, it's not. Because if it was a true story about redemption and second chances, Rudius, in his original life, we all agree that he had a fixation on lollies. And in the original version, he was sneaking in on his 10-year-old cousin in the bath that is no longer available. It was rewritten, but that was his original intent. And then it was shifted to watching Lollicorn. So from the original draft all the way to what we got, guess what? He is still minor attracted. And when he goes into this world, instead of having a situation where he identifies that he had a problem and he has a second chance to reinvent himself, to be a mentor to these kids as he grows up, he could have been the dad figure. You know that one friend in your group who's more mature than everyone else, who kind of guides everyone into being better? Instead of doing that, he wanted to look at opportunities in order to date them. Before you catch me with some bullshit like, no, he's not. This is his reaction to meeting Roxy. It's a lolly magician. And a little bit later, Lolly, half eyes closed, that attitude, she's perfect. And even the language chosen for his inner thoughts regarding Roxy, my utmost respect for that little girl, so as to not shame her, and then immediately finds her underwear and then shrines them. And then let's not forget when he meets Self, super beautiful, pretty boy. Let's get you cleaned up. Go on your knees and in front of the canal for a bit. Like this. Oh, he's so submissive to boot. And then later, when Roxy ends up having that incident where he pulls down Roxy's pants, discovering it's a she, he immediately says, I'm gonna make it up, and tries to date her. Like he just traumatized this poor girl, and now he's like, I'm gonna date her. And Rudius never really changes this part of who he is. And this is the big part he needs to redeem. It's like being a serial rapist, and then you all of a sudden gain a little bit more compassion for people instead of just being a complete jagoff, and people are like, you did a good job, you're such a good character, you did so well, you're such a good person, but yet you're still a serial rapist. And that is the problem with Motoko Tensei. It's not a redemption story. He gets exactly what he wants at the end of the story, and he is remembered fondly by his lovers and his kids and the world. But yet the only thing that really changed about Rudius is he eventually became an adult, and the kids that he had been grooming and graping became adults too. And before you come in the comments saying, well, it's in a different world, he goes by different standards, guess what? If you get reincarnated as a doctor from today's time and you go back and start leeching blood to fix everything, you're a bad doctor. Because you know more now coming from a more advanced society. You know better. And if you get the chance to go back to a world where the laws are a little bit more laxed, guess what? You're still a bad person because you came from a society where the standards were higher. And all it tells us and the rest of the anime community is that if you had the chance to go to a place to bang 14 and 15-year-olds, you would. My rant is over, so if you want to read stories by a creator who doesn't support pedophilia, go ahead and read a copy of The Devil's Deal or Night of Slaughter, where I successfully don't sexualize children. And if you don't believe me, you can read them all online for free. Because this is a type of art that you're going to get from my works. For my dark fantasy fans out there, don't worry, we keep it classy and gory.